Okay, so enough of us made mistakes on our independent check yesterday that I wanted to make sure that I make a video and explain, and I want you to see if you catch some mistakes. So for this is the first type that we were looking at, when we know some of the sides, some of the information about the area model, but we don't know all of it. For instance, this is a missing piece. Okay, so when we have this kind of problem, we have to think, okay, something times 8 is 200. So look, I know this. 8 times something is 200. Okay, or another way to say it is 200 divided by something is 8. So I know the factor is 8 and something, and this is the product. Or if I read it backwards like division, 200 divided by something gets me 8. Okay, now you kind of have to go ahead, and I remember yesterday a student offered this information about using a strategy called guess and check. Sometimes we need to guess and check a little bit. So let's pretend we had a 10 here. 8 times 10. Well, 8 times 10 only gets you 80. Yikes. So it's got to be more than 10. Let's try something bigger, like 20. 8 times 20. Now, if you want to do your work on the side, that's fine. 8 times 20, even though it's big numbers, it has basic facts. 8 times 2 is 16 with a 0. So 8 times 20 gets you up to 160. Now, I agree that we're not quite there yet, but if you do 8 times 20 and you get 160, are you part of the way to 200? Sure. You only need 40 more. So let me just show you that again, make sure we're good. 8 times 20 gets you 160. Well, we want to get 200 total, but 8 times 20 gets us part of the way there. So now I have to think 8 times something to get me the 40. 8 times what gets me 40? 8 times 5 gets me 40. So let's rewind. 8 times 20 gets me 160, and 8 times 5 gets me 40. So together, 160 and 40 got me to, yay, 200. Okay? So 8 times what got me to 200? 20 and 5 is 25. So 8 times 25 is 200. Or another way to say it is 200 divided by 25 is 8. So I'm going backwards. 200 divided by 25 is 8. Okay? Alright, the next one. If it's already distributed for us. Okay, so it's kind of like they've already done some of the work. Now, I can see here 7 times something equals something. So I already do know one of the factors. And one of the factors is 7. 7 times something equals something. So let's kind of look at what we have. You have to be kind of a detective here. Okay, here's the magnifying glass. You are the detective, and you are using what you have. There you are. Using what you have to figure out what you don't have. So I know 7. Oh, and I see 10 here. 7 times 10. Ooh, 70. I know 7 here. I don't know this, but I know it gets me 56. Well, 7 times what is 56? It's 8. So wait, 7 times what? 10 and 8 is 18. So 7 times 18. And now what is 7 times 18? Well, I don't know. Right now I have a partial product and a partial product. Let me add those. 70 plus 56. 6 plus 0 is 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we get 126. So 7 times 18 is 126. Or, how can I read that as division? 126 divided by 18 is 7. Okay, some of us were saying some wild things. Like, let's just pretend for a minute we had this. 7 times, what if by accident you put 7 times 108? 7 times 108 equals 126. Does that make sense that 7 of these gets you that. What's 7 times 100? 700. Oh, so 7 times 108. Do you think it's going to be close to 126? No. So guys, sometimes we need to, in our brains, use what I call an SE. That's a smart estimate. A smart estimate asks, does this make sense? 7 times 18. Isn't 18 pretty darn close to 20? Yeah. And 7 times 20 is 140. So would 7 times 18, 126, does that sound reasonable? Yes. My smart estimate says yes, that sounds about right. And the last problem, 2-digit by 2-digit. Okay, so we're going to try this one again, 2-digit by 2-digit. So now this isn't 103, this is 10 and 3. This is 20 and something. One of my factors, 10 plus 3, is 13. So I already know one of the factors. This factor I don't know yet. So let's, again, use this detective magnifying glass and figure out some of the unknowns. Ooh, 10 times 20. I can do that. 10 times 20. Use your basic facts. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 2 zeros. Ooh, 3 times 20. I can do that. 3 times 20. Use your basic facts. 3 times 2 is 6 with a 0. 10 times what gets me 40? Well, I already know it gets me 40, but it's what? 10 times 4 gets me 40. Let's see if it works here. Is 3 times 4 get me 12? Yes. Okay, so let's go back. On the side here, I'm looking at what are my factors. My factor here is 13. My factor here is 20 and 4, which adds to be 24. So 13 times 24. And what does it get me? I don't know. I've got 4 partial products. Here I got 200. Here I got 40. Here I got 60. And here I got 12. If you need to use graph paper to nicely and neatly stack my 1s, my 10s, my 100s, please do so. I'm very, very diligent and careful about doing that. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 up here, 1 down here, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So, 13 times 24, the area it got me was 312. And now I can read it backwards as an inverse operation, as division equation. 312 divided by 24 gets me 13. Okay, so this is a check on these 3. We're going to keep working on this. It doesn't mean you're done, but I'm hoping I can get people to start to feel a little bit more like a 3. What I want you to do is honestly circle where you feel though, okay? I just wrote that. If you don't feel a 3 yet, be honest with yourself. I want you to reevaluate. Circle where you are now. Okay, circle where you are now. And then I want you to get ready to move on.